Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Could I have your attention, please? Perhaps we can make a start. Thanks, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. Let's begin. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'd like to welcome you all here today. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself to you all. My name is Aziz. You can call me Abdul. I'm the marketing manager in this company. So if you want to know more about me, about marketing, or about my positions, you can ask this person. And this is Steve. He's the head of HR department, human resources. Now, Steve, can you introduce yourself? Hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm a head of HR department, human resources department, and anything about database of the employees is come from me. One all about general affairs is what we organize and what we manage, and it's all about management. I think that's all, sir. Thank you, Steve. And next, this is Rogers from the accounts department. Rogers, would you like to introduce yourself? It's your time. Hello, everyone. Okay, in this company, as an accounting manager, so handle all about financial payments, banking, fee or salary. I think that's all, sir. Go on and go ahead. Okay, thank you. And I think some of them will also be presenting today. Now, let's get down to business. Thank you for coming. Okay, everyone. I'd like to explain what the aim of this meeting is to talk about the impact of the coronavirus for economic sector. We'll go over causes, impact, data, and solution on it. So let's start with some new business. Impact of the coronavirus economic sector. The first item on the agenda is how we can analyze how far and how big of the impact. I think that'll be explanations. Okay. Economy is the most important factor. Economy is the most important factor in human life. Economic needs are closely related in everyday life. Humans, to meet their needs such as food, drink, clothing, shelter, etc., require a strong economy. The state is required to regulate policies regarding the Indonesian economy, and is required to guarantee the economy of the Indonesian people, because the economic factors are very important factors in human life. In addition to the economy being the most important factor in human life, this economic factor is also supporting factor for national development, because the economic growth of a good country can increase national development. The economic impact of this pandemic has occurred in several countries significantly. Apart from China, the state of South Korea will also experience a country that is affected the economy. In 2020, COVID-19 is a very big concern for the Indonesian people. Many of the losses incurred from this pandemic have an impact on the Indonesian company. After experiencing a rapid increase in cases, the government made a policy to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic with the enactment of the Euro distancing or S.Pd live in government regulation. With the existence of the S.Pd, all the usual activities had to stop. All activities in the industrial and office sectors were temporarily forced to stop operating. In addition, the education sectors, public services, all places of worship, shopping centers, restaurants, and tourism places also experienced the same thing. Social or physical distancing has an effect on decreasing overall economic activity. The impact of the economic sector during the COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia include the occurrence of layoffs on large scales. The result of the data obtained are more than 1.5 million workers at home and affected by layoffs. There was a decrease in the Indonesian manufacturing PMI to reach 45.3% in March 2020 or 2020. There was a decline in imports of 3.7% in the first quarter. Inflation has reached 2.96% year on year, which has been contributed from the price of gold and food commodities in March 2020, and the cure of flight cancellation, which resulted in a decrease in income in the sector. And at 6,000 hotels, there have been a decline in occupancy by up to 50%. This results in loss of tourism foreign exchange. Okay, I think that covers the first item. If nobody has anything else to add, we can continue on the next item. Okay, any objection or want to add the explanation? Steve? I think that was good enough, sir, for the first item about that what you explained. Rogers? Okay, I will give feedback for the first, maybe. As long as I know, I agree with it. I agree. Nothing false. This nothing else matter. Go on, sir. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Graphic, data, and chart of COVID-19. Okay, let's see the graphic or the chart. Graphic data and chart of COVID-19. According to the data presented by the head of the BKF Macro Policy Center, Hidayat Amir, that the Indonesian economy only grew 2.97% in the first quarter of 2020. This figure is lower than the same period the previous year, which was around 5%. The potential economic loss can be quantified into a number by multiplying the economic downturn in the first quarter of 2020 with the gross domestic product, or GDP. If calculated, the total potential state loss to the COVID-19 is around 320 trillion Indonesian rupiah. Okay, from the data above, from the field that you can see, the author can conclude that COVID-19 pandemic outbreak is very detrimental to the community's economy. The authors ask questions about problems that may often occur in people who are experiencing the state of the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, such as difficulty finding work, many being laid off, or decreased export-import activities of goods. Okay, so I think that covers the second item. If nobody has anything else to add, we can continue on the next item. Okay, any objection? You can analyze from the chart or graphic. You can see this. I will repeat or I will replay. Don't be worried. Okay, about the percentage based on data on the graphic or the chart, I think we need to concern and focus on it. I think that's all for the second item. Okay, maybe it's enough. So next jump to the next item. Okay, I think it's three big or basic impact of coronavirus in economic sector. For the first, there is a difficulty of finding a job. because here many campaigns origin. It's so much you can see there from the explanations. Is it clear? Okay. For the second, many employees who are already working have to be sent home without being paid to an unknown extent, and some have been laid off because the company cannot pay salaries to employees. You can see the explanation. Rogers or Steve? Can you explain about this? Okay, is it clear? Okay. For the last is the third. The impact of COVID-19 on the economy in Indonesia, one of which is the incidence of crime in several areas. So you can see the explanation. Okay, is it clear? Okay, I think that covers the third item. If nobody has anything else to add, we can continue on to the next item. Okay, any objection for this explanation? Or maybe I'm too fast to explain. Is it okay for you? Okay, for the third item, for the topic number 3, I think there's there's a big or basic impact what we can feel. Just more, unsatisfied for all employees, for all company and stakeholder and manufacturer industry, I think. Okay, if nobody has anything else to add or any objections, we can continue on to the next item. Let's go. Next item. Okay, everyone. Now we come to the main challenge. That is government solutions. The government of the Republic of Indonesia has taken a lot of steps and efforts handling COVID-19 from the economic sector, the health sector, the social sector, and various other sectors. Currently, the government has various society net program for mitigating the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on people's lives. One of them, the pre-employment card program. In addition to the pre-employment card, the government, especially the West Java government, has created and prepared a scheme regarding 9 assistance entered in one of the 9 doors. Here are 9 doors assistance for people affected by COVID-19. See this. Okay, for the first, Family Hope program or PKH. In Indonesia, this program Keluarga Harapan. We are seeing this film. Okay. This program has been around for a long time before COVID-19 pandemic. This program given to underprivileged people whose data has been recorded in the government as a recipient of regular assistance from the government. For the second, non-cash food assistance, just like PKH or PKH. This program has been around for a long time prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the recipient data was already with the government as a recipient of routine assistance every month. Next, pre-employment card. The pre-employment card is given to those affected by layoffs, unemployment, and for those who have just graduated from formal education. Number 4, social assistance from the president. The target is the Indonesian citizens who have not been registered as recipients of PKH assistance, EBNT, and the pre-employment card for the first, on the reason before. Number 5, village fund. According to the village ministerial regulations, or the village government may reallocate the village fund budget, one of which is for handling COVID-19. Among other things is to be solid work and BLT. For the last, number 6, social assistance from the Ministry of Social Affairs. The Ministry of Social Affairs provides basic assistance of 1,600,000 Indonesian rupiah per family for over the next 3 months. Okay, apart from the steps and efforts that have been made, the government also has several policies related to the COVID-19 pandemic, including the first, you can see this. What the first is social distancing or social restrictions. Okay, I will explain it. Social distancing is a set of intended infection control measures to stop or slow the spread of infectious disease. The purpose of social restrictions is to reduce the likelihood of contact between infected people and others who are not infected, so as to minimize disease transmission. Examples such as closing schools, workplaces, isolation, quarantine, closing or limiting public transportation, so for the first. Number 2, income tax borne by the government. The explain of it, regular income received by employees earn 200 million rupiah a year those who work for companies affected by the coronavirus pandemic receive facilities income tax. This pandemic. Yeah. Number 3. Looseness to pay credit. So I think you will understand about it, that the government provides a number of incentives from micro, small, and business group, medium, including the leniency to pay credit for up to 1 year. Okay, for number 4, electricity subsidies. It's a policy reducing electricity cost to PLN customers in the midst of the pandemic coronavirus. The 7 billion subsidies 19 voltage ampere household get a 50% discount on electricity payments for 3 months. This policy is intended for the poor. For the last, number 5, study at home. This is not only for elementary school or junior high school, but it's also for university or for college. The Ministry of Education provides a number of references for the implementation of learning from home during this time of the pandemic. There are no specific limitations on what learning material should be done by students at home. This is because of access or learning facilities. Each student's property is not the same. To support the activity process learning from this house, the Ministry of Education and Culture has collaborated with several telecommunication providers such as Indosat, Telkomsel, and Excel to provide quotas education to access learning application or websites. Okay, I think that covers the third item, about government solutions. Any objections or any add explanations from the item, from this topic, or the third? Okay, if nobody has anything else to add, or there's no objection, we can continue on the next item. Okay, now let's jump to the next item. The final item on this agenda is to discuss about policies that relate on our company. So now, before it, I will conclude, or I'll explain the conclusion. Are you ready for it? Okay, for the conclusion, coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, has had a huge impact on the world. The organizations, World Health, has declared a public health emergency of concern internationally to coordinate international responses to the disease. The groups most vulnerable to this virus, all those who have defenses, low immunity, such as older people whose immune systems decline with age and is further exacerbated by the underlying health conditions, as well as systemic children immunity is not yet fully formed. Therefore, it is the role, efforts, and policies of the government expected by all Indonesian people. One of the efforts made by the government now is to provide various kinds of social assistance in hopes of that society remains fulfilled, even though there are restrictions that make society restrictions cannot do daily activities as usual. So Indonesian people are asked to follow all government directives in the hope of restoring the situation as before. So we hope all the policies, what we choose or what we prove, will make economic maybe normal again, back to the normal, and back stable and equal, hopefully. Okay, Steve, Rogers, any else to add the explanation, or you want to explain in what you're thinking about, or not in what's in your mind? Rogers, Steve, it's your time. I will queue for you. Yeah. Based on your explanation and list about all appropriate or possible, I think, yeah, I think almost all policies will be appropriate or suitable or possible to apply for our company, I think. Yeah, for the government solutions that we can filter again, and then we can analyze for the first. I think that's all. That's all. Nothing, sir. Anything is clear for me. So I have no objection for your explanation. I think great job for your chairman in this meeting today. Congrats. Go ahead. Okay. Great. That's good. Any else from the others? I think agree. I also agree with your statement, with your arguments. This will be, we can tabulate on next meeting. Any others? Any else? Objection or adding? Enough? Okay. Okay, everyone. Before we close, let me just summarize the main points. Okay, it looks like we covered the main items for meeting today. To sum up, we discussed using some impacts of coronavirus on economic sector. And we also talk about the progress situations on data and chart. And finally, we've got some of policies from government solutions to prove that related and connected with our company. Right, that's all for today's meeting. Are there any questions before we finish? No? Great. I'd like to thank all participants who joined in this meeting. Thank you for all attending. That's all for today. I'm sorry if I have mistakes by explanation or too fast by pronunciations, or then if I made a mistake, I'm so sorry. So, for the last word, thanks for your coming. Thank you for attending. That's all. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.